Melbourne filmmaker Genevieve Bailey headed on her first overseas trip. She went armed with a camera and loads of enthusiasm. She came back with her first feature film documenting the world through the eyes of 11-year-olds.
It really doesn't matter which religion you're from. They all have the same sort of meanings in the end.
I'm gonna be the tree for Christmas because we're like messed up financially.
People today, they say like, oh my God, are you gonna get married to Andrew? And I say, no, I'm 11. And when you're an adult, your voice changes again, then you get married to the woman you love, then you get children, like grandchildren, and then boom, it all ends.
Genevieve joins us now, along with Jack, one of the children featured in her new film, I Am 11. When you heard it out, what was it about 11? Was it a conscious decision to do 11? Obviously it was.
Yeah.
Why 11?
Well, I looked back to my favourite age in life and I thought when I was 11 I was kind of on top of the world and you're full of ideas and personality and opinions, but you're not yet at that teenage time in life, and I wanted to make a documentary that would make me and audiences around the world happy. So I thought, what would it be like to be 11 today? And I set off around the world.
Do you know, I've worked in radio for about, I don't know, 8 years now, and whenever you get a kid who gets on the phone who's fantastic, maybe starts ringing the radio show a bit, they're always 11.
And they've still got a level of innocence about them.
Absolutely.
And intrigue, but they haven't got cynical and, you know, like when you're 13, you're very cynical.
And they've got this confidence burst all of a sudden that they want to be involved in what's happening. Did you find that?
Yeah, absolutely. The kids were really passionate. I shot in 15 different countries. They were all really happy to be involved in it and to have their say. It doesn't matter what's right or wrong, it's just what's, you know, expressing themselves.
Now, Jack, you're in the documentary. Tell us about how you got involved.
Well, I was working at an elephant sanctuary up in Thailand, and I was riding elephants and things, and Genevieve was wanting to come over to Thailand to have a holiday after all this filming, and she saw a video on YouTube of people riding elephants into the water, and she thought, I want to do that. And so she went and booked the things, and she booked her holiday, and she was like, well, do you guys have any 11-year-olds? Because I'm doing this documentary, and so while I'm on holiday, I may as well go and do this.
And they said, we have an incredibly articulate 11-year-old who has some very amazing ideas about religion and life, and you're a bit of a superstar in this movie.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But tell us what happened to your family as a result of this movie.
Well, I decided when this film went to the Melbourne International Film Festival that I wanted to come to here to go to school in Melbourne and go to boarding school here. So I rang up my parents and said, hey, Mum, I want to be a boarder at Melbourne Grammar. And she was like, no, what?
Because your parents were based at this point
in Thailand.
In Thailand. So they uprooted their lives for you.
Yes.
So now it's funny that we've met Jack in Thailand and that he now lives at a boarding school 10 minutes from our studio in Brisbane, so very much local.
What lovely parents
and Jack,
you have as well.
You made a comment. What was the comment that you made in the film about religion?
I said that all religions are the same. I mean, at the time I was really basing that on Islam and Christianity because my mother is does a lot of work with Islamic-Christian relations and how Islam and Christianity are practically the same religion, but people don't really realise that on a day-to-day basis.
How people politicise them. We somehow ended up talking a lot about that today, about how we forget to look at people for people and get politics involved, and it gets confusing. But I guess when you're 11, things are a bit clearer in a way.
Yeah.
Well, that was what I couldn't get over. What stood out for me was your incredibly wise, wonderful words, and then you had the little boy that we just heard them saying that once you grow up and you become a grandfather, you know, your whole life's over.
Boom, it all ends.
What's the theme that you found, Genevieve, from talking to these 11-year-olds, or what did they give you? What was a gift?
I think they've given me so many gifts. One of them is this great sense of self-belief and confidence. And I think when you're 11, you feel like anything's possible. And I think making a film independently is really difficult. We made the film without any funding, and my partner Henrik and I, we had years of having to just stick with it. And the kids gave us this kind of intense passion for what we were doing, and we wanted to be a bit like our 11-year-old self as well, because it's, you know, it's a great time in life, and we look forward to audiences reconnecting with their inner 11-year-old.
Well, it's absolutely gorgeous, and what it does, I found, it re-releases the inner child in me and in everyone that's going to watch it.
Yay!
Which is the whole aim. Can you please thank Genevieve Bailey and Jack?
Well done.
Thank you. It's really, really worth checking out, guys. I Am 11 is at cinemas this month, and everyone in our studio audience, you're all getting a double pass to see it. Jack's mum going to Cirque then.
Please excuse my mum.